Welcome to the channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you're not. Today's video, what makes a complete unknown such a good biopic? And not only a biopic, what makes it a good film in general? Well, I'm going to answer the question straight away. No bullshit. We're just going to get straight into it, okay? The answer is New York City. It's that simple. New York City. New York City, the city that never sleeps. Arguably the most iconic city in the whole world. In my opinion, New York City is the driving force for this film. There is no Bob Dylan without New York. There is no A Complete Unknown without New York. In fact, there is no Timothée Chalamet without New York. But back on subject to the film, there is a scene at the beginning of the film, well it is literally the beginning of the film, where Bob Dylan is literally just walking along the street. Now that sounds simple, but the camera follows Bob Dylan as he's looking around. We see people just going about their life, we see people playing music, we see markets, we see people selling stuff, and already there is this feeling, this vibe, this aura. Now, I was hesitant to use the word aura because it's 2025, no one will take me seriously if I use that word, but hey, I've already used it, and it's true, there is an aura. New York City has aura, it's why we see it in so many movies. People love filming in New York, people love New York in general because it has aura. But that's what's important to this film anyway. It brings an aura, it brings a sense, it's a sort of a tight feeling because this film never leaves New York. You know, it's I was going to compare it to a bottle episode on a TV show. You know, every TV show has a bottle episode. It's iconic at this point, you know, it never leaves that location. I think a better example for this is The White Lotus. We feel very trapped when watching The White Lotus because we never leave. We never, ever, ever leave The White Lotus. I think in this season we are going to go to Bangkok. I'm not going to spoil, okay, but I recommend you do watch The White Lotus. It is an incredible series, but in the first two seasons, we never leave, okay? And if we do, we don't go very far, okay? We really don't go very far. So it always feels like we're trapped, and that's what it feels like in this movie. The furthest we ever go is to the Newport Folk Festival, which I will talk about in the second half of the video, so stick around for that, because I do feel like that is another character in itself. But yeah, New York City is a very important character in this film. I don't know if anyone else experienced this when watching this film, but there is always a sense of danger, at least for me. There's always a sense of something is coming, something bad, you know? Now, obviously this film touches on, you know, Martin Luther King a little bit, it touches on the Cold War, so there is that, but I really don't know how to describe it, and it's not what I've just said, it's just there is a sense that something extremely bad is going to happen, but nothing that bad does happen, you know. The major event of the film is that Bob Dylan plays Electric, which is obviously, that is a massive thing in itself, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about New York City and what makes that such an important part of this film. There is one very specific scene that I am talking about when I'm talking about New York City being used in this film. Now, it's the transition scene from the two time periods that this film takes place in. It's the scene where Bob Dylan is literally, it's simple, just walking along the street. It's nighttime. The sound design is incredible. And he goes to pick up this, on his way, he finds this little toy, like a toy whistle, that is then used in Highway 61.
You got kids?
Yeah. Thousands of them.
We see it in the film. Obviously, it's in the real song. Now, I don't know. Maybe I need to do some research on this. I don't know if that was actually what happened in real life, if he actually just picked up a kid's toy and just walked into the studio one day and was like, I'm going to use a kid's toy. But anyway, it's an incredible scene. Again, it's so powerful, and it just shows that between the years, so much changed in Bob Dylan's life. And again, just walking along the street, nighttime, the light, the sound, the people, it's so powerful. When I first watched that in the cinema, I just knew that this film was at least getting a minimum of 4 stars on Letterboxd. Now, this is where I plug my Letterboxd. Corey Talks Film. It's the same logo as my profile picture on here. Go check out my Letterboxd, because I will only be talking about certain films on here. If you want to see what I think of other films, if you want to just see what I'm watching, go check it out. Now back to the actual video. When we think of Bob Dylan, we think of the Newport Folk Festival. It is such an important part of the Bob Dylan story, at least in my opinion, but I think if you ask a lot of Bob Dylan fans, they will agree, especially when he went electric, defying the rules and proving to everybody that he is now essentially a rock star.
How crazy is it going to be tonight, Bob?
Pretty crazy. Come check it out.
It's sold out. We can't hear it.
I'll sing louder.
Locations are used so well in this film. From Bob Dylan going electric at the Newport Folk Festival, to him doing a heartbreaking duet at the Newport Folk Festival, to him arriving in New York, living in his apartment in New York, playing at these bars and clubs in New York, to him recording at the studio. Locations are so important in this film, and they are used tremendously well. It is my favourite bit of this film in terms of storytelling anyway. And I hope that filmmakers, young filmmakers coming up and older filmmakers, the legends, can learn from this. This is how you do a biopic, because this is a basic story. It's a very basic story, but how do you add sauce? How do you add that sauce? And A Complete Unknown does it so well by simply making locations a character. If you stuck around to the end, thank you so much for watching today's video. I love A Complete Unknown. It really is it's a great film. It really is. And Timothée Chalamet, I don't even have to say anything about him. It goes without saying that he is one of the most incredible actors to ever grace this planet. I don't think I'm being over dramatic. I have been told so many times in my life that I'm being over dramatic when I talk about Timothée Chalamet, but he truly is a generational talent, and this movie is just proof of that. But anyway, like I said, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.